when everything was dark, it was the journey now to try and get everything back. But before
Okay.
you start getting stuff back, you have to figure yourself out, and because even if you get the stuff back, you're going to lose it again unless you know who you are and you know the reason behind you losing all this stuff. So that was now the journey we were saying, the journey of self-discovery, and knowing
Uh-huh.
myself and knowing where I stand, understanding my values, understanding what kind of person I have, my personality, what kind of person I am actually. And it took time. It took time. And then, that shift of values, the shift of values, that's a tricky part,
Okay.
because, I became born again, right?
Right.
But when you get born again, you're still an alcoholic. So it
Oh.
takes time to be able to escape that thing, because, you go to church, next day you're in the bar. So you have to figure out a way. It's a journey.
It's a
And
journey.
it took time. It took
Self-discipline.
time to
Self-discipline.
get, yeah. There's self-discipline, and also there's other things, because it's not easy. It's not easy losing your addiction. It's not easy. A lot of people go for rehabilitation, but I didn't have to go to rehab. God was faithful. I pulled out. I've been clean now 9 years. No alcohol
Yeah.
in my system. And I was at that point, I was at a time, I'm like, okay, I want to serve God and do all that, but I don't see how I can stop taking alcohol. It's impossible.
Mm. Mm.
But as time goes, and then you find I've stayed like a month, then finally you even forget about it. You reach a point where you don't even want to see it near you. You see alcohol, you no longer desire it anymore, because you've
Okay.
learned how to cope without that. So that was the journey, and it took time. It took years, and for a long time I couldn't. Like now, you can call me up even to a bar, and I'll sit next to you, and I won't.
We'll still have a
I'll take
chat,
what
and
I
then
won't take
yeah.
any alcohol. It won't bother me.
Yeah.
But there's
Okay.
a period there where I can't even go out to those joints, because lest I fall back in, and when you fall back, it
The
gets
level
worse.
of temptation. The level of temptation there
Yeah,
is high.
is high. So
Okay.
that was what I was. That's what was happening over those years that I was there, and so it was a challenge. It was a challenge, because in losing all your relationships and losing my support systems, I'm a person who used to seek support from people. I think it's a natural human thing to seek support from people, but
Yeah. Yeah.
I also
Definitely.
learned
It is. It is. Yeah.
it is. But I learned how to be more self-reliant, how to rely on myself more, because sometimes you don't have the right people around you. So it made me stronger. But at the end of the day, as the years went by, I needed someone to come in and help me out of it. Because when you're going through this what do I call it, denial? There's some kind of denial, right?
Some level of
If you're really
deniability.
really there's like if you're really depressed and you're not talking to people, and the people who love you now, my relatives come and tell me, you're behaving weirdly, you're not talking to people. I pull back even further, because I'm like, what are you trying to say? Are you trying to suggest I'm not normal? And for many years I resisted receiving help. I resisted it
Okay.
with all my heart. I was like, I'm not crazy, I'm normal.
All right.
And yeah, the point isn't that I didn't understand. I thought they're trying to call me crazy, but that wasn't the point. It was like, we see
Oh.
you're suffering. You're suffering, man. You're always so angry and worked up. You're always so bitter and all that.
And
So
withdrawn. And
finally,
withdrawn.
I'm extremely withdrawn. They wouldn't see me for days, and we are living in the same area, and they're not seeing me for days. I'm just locked up. So eventually they were like, okay, here's what we're going to do. We're not going to take you to a psychiatrist, lest you say that we're taking you to an asylum. We're gonna take you to a psychologist. So a psychologist is not
Okay.
medical, so it's just counseling.
Okay.
So
All
I'm like,
right.
okay, let me see the counselor. And if the counselor tells me anything about taking medication, I'm out the door.
But
So I
basically
was
you're saying if
surprised.
the counselor said something I don't like, I'm out of the door.
I'm out of this. I'm out of there. So when I went to see the counselor, I thought that the guy would sit me down and give me a lecture on health. I was surprised. The guy was just a friendly guy, just a mature man. who's had an experience with the same kind of thing, and he just asked me, "What are your problems? Or your girlfriend left you?" And we talk about that issue, or it's money, or you talk about that issue like that slowly. And with every session, I got, better and
You
better.
opened up a little bit. You opened up a little bit.
Yeah, because what I needed, I didn't. My challenges were not insurmountable. They were not impossible challenges, but when you're in that situation, you can't see a way out. You need someone to come and show you a different perspective, a different way of looking at the same challenges. And that was a huge step for me, because that's why I started figuring out that, it's not really a big deal, your girlfriend left you, people get left by their girlfriend. You run out of money, build new networks. I started seeing things
Options.
differently.
Okay.
And that empowered me even now to get back to being creative, making new music, getting back. Because one of the worst things about depression is the death of ambition. Because when that overthinking comes and kills your ambition, then you become hopeless, because you're like, what am I living for? That's what can make someone suicidal. Because
why even try? Why even try?
Why even try?
Somebody will not. Yeah, okay. I see.
Yeah, so the easy way out is, I'm going to take an overdose. I'm going to, you start planning how you're going to take yourself out painlessly. So that's what, that was a big challenge for me. But eventually, when I got that help, which I thought I didn't need, when I got that help, and basically it's the same, that mental health Tubonge.
That's what sparked you to do this, basically.
Yeah, because it was just talking that got me out. It was talking. Okay. It was not medication. It was not prescriptions. It was just talking about it, talking. That's what got me out.
And basically, now this is what leads you to, like, try to have other people Tubonge, which in Swahili means let's talk about it, basically. Let's talk about mental health. Okay. Yeah. So how is it coming? Yeah. How is this mental health Tubonge coming? What's your plan and how you want to go about it? What's in your mind? What you want to do? And what's happening now on the ground?
Okay, so we have we're now in the process of planning mostly, and approaching organizations and corporates. But this destigmatization thing is, it's not easy to sell a vision. It's usually easier when people see it on the ground, when they see it moving. But when you're still planning and trying to get people to see your vision, they don't really see it. There's some kind of resistance to new ideas. So that's one of the challenges we have. But generally, we are working. We are working really on giving the whole campaign, giving it more visibility, credibility, placement, and having products that can help people. Definitely, I can't start laying out the plans, but
okay,
but
you
really,
got some plans, yeah.
There's some plans. There's some plans behind it, and it's what I can say. It's bigger than it looks, and we're gonna get there. Because at the end of the day, it's not. Sometimes I think on this side of the world, everyone looks at everything as a commercial venture. It's these guys are out to get. But that's really not the objective. The objective is to get help out to some people, so that at the end of the day, it's the battle is bigger than us. It's bigger than our stomachs. It's about people who are actually suffering, people who have gone through what I've gone through, who need the kind of help that I got to start making the steps out of that dark place that I also was once in.
Now listen, I got a couple of people lined up. I might come back to you later. But everybody's Candid Conversations. I'm talking to KAKTUS Kusini, and KAKTUS Kusini is an artist. And this is one of KAKTUS Kusini's latest work that's out on YouTube and everything. And listen, KAKTUS, we're gonna do what we can do to help you from this side, yeah. And I love this. I love what you're doing. There's a couple of people that might come back on. I think there's some players from Kenya. Any minute now they'll be checking in. But in the meantime, right? I don't know. Are you meeting any difficulties when you're going out there trying to talk? Are you talking to people about this, or you just still the
Yeah,
things
definitely.
is on the grind work?
Yeah, definitely. Talking to people. We're talking to people. As I was saying, there's difficulty in selling the vision when it's still at the early stages. It's not easy selling the vision, but
Okay.
we're talking to people. We're trying to make it something bigger than even just the music. You know, the point is we're using the music as a tool
Right.
to an end, to an end. But
Okay.
the end is not the music. The music is the tool towards the end, which is for
The
people to
music
get
is like the conduit to, because
conduit.
music
Yeah,
resonates with everybody in different levels. So
with
it's easy
everybody.
with the music to bring up
Yeah,
all these
For
people,
now,
any.
sports,
And
bring up
those
all
people
football,
these
I'm waiting
football,
for, I'm waiting.
whatever, and then they'll talk about the same thing. And then later on, I'll bring in the CEO of Football Sports Chaplain UK, Mr. Warren. I see you in there, Mr. Warren. Thanks a lot. It's a pleasure. Let's go. Let's play this for a minute. It's a gospel song, by the way. It goes over a lot of people's head, yeah?
You okay?
I'm good, thank you. Yourself?
No bad, no bad. Thank you for joining. Thank you for taking time.
Privilege.
And we really appreciate this.
Oh, it's a really important topic.
Yeah, we really do appreciate this. Um, um, I don't know whether you caught what I was talking to the artist KAKTUS earlier
Yeah.
on. Yeah, he spoke to us about what happened with him, how he came around to having, he went through some stuff in his life, and then he came through it. He worked himself through it with, he was even, he was being given help. He was refusing the help. He thought he was strong enough, but in the end, he came through it. I used to know KAKTUS when we were still musicians back home, when we were hitting the studio, running around, giving our CDs to the radio stations and all that. And then when I came here, so when we were talking the other day, he led me through the story. And I felt really touched because he even told me about a couple of people who they're dealing with it the best way they know how, right? And being that he's the first one who came to and spoke about it, I felt like maybe we should talk about this just amongst us peers. This is how this started. Just amongst us peers, let's talk about this. Check on so and so, see how he's doing. Check on so and so, and that kind of thing. See how he's doing. And I think also with this COVID thing, where people are you're indoors for, it kind of maybe the support system dwindles, or maybe just because of reasons you can't see whoever you used to see to help you just have a laugh and get through the day. That kind of has an effect on everything. That's what I think. But now that you're here, first of all, ladies and gentlemen, sorry, where are my manners? Mr. Warren, can you please introduce yourself, sir? Sorry, I was taking off. I was going over there because I'm still buzzing from from talking to KAKTUS. Talk to us, Mr. Warren. What is it you do? And yeah, go on.
Yeah, sure. I have the privilege of working with leaders up and down our nation and across the globe involved in sports chaplaincy. So they deal with a lot of sports, every sport you can think of: football, rugby, cricket, horse racing, motorsports, disability sports, men's, women's sports. So really across the board. But one of my core topics that really means, and it has impacted me, is mental health and the whole stigma of mental health. And I think in one level, sports dealt with it better than the cross-section of society. A lot of men suffer in silence. I think KAKTUS mentioned a number of things. With a provider, with this, with that. When we think of, let's say, when I talk to you about physical health, you will think lots of positive things. You'll think about being strong, fit, healthy. When I talk about mental health, the connotation is straight away, you're a nutter, you're mad. Well, you heard KAKTUS say that, I'm crazy, I'm not. Well, actually, it's not. It's the same. And so far, you see a lot of people suffering silently, especially men. And I think so often people think it's just one thing, and it can be for a number of reasons. It can be the straw that breaks the camel's back, a number of things. But I think KAKTUS said something really, really important. He said it, and I'm just going to pull my notes because I was making some notes. He said, death of ambition. I would say the loss of hope. And so lots of things can build up and